Good morning. I am Gina. I am blessed to be here with you today. I am the spiritual director for Centers for Spiritual Living Greater Boston, and we have a fun packed day for you. Well, the next hour, anyway, is going to put you right on track for the joy of becoming. That is our topic today. And in that joy, we have some wonderful people that are going to be praying with us, giving us beautiful readings, and I am so blessed to be a part of this beautiful team this morning. Now, you may notice the menagerie behind me and wonder, that looks a little different than it usually does. You may say, that's not the normal backdrop for what we see every Sunday. Well, I have the gang in back with me. This is from my home, actually. The power of technology has us all in different places within this oneness. So I am so grateful for technology. We are not in person today, but we will be live again next week. We will be back in person next week. So thank you for going with the flow with us. And I just want to, if you're just stopping by for the first time and you're wondering, well, what is this service all about? What is Centers for Spiritual Living? Well, we are a teaching of the science of mind, and we culminate the beautiful gifts of philosophy, religion, and science. We bring it all together for this beautiful teaching that is constantly becoming from within us to this greater knowing. So that is what we're exploring today, the becoming of. So let's take ourselves through this joyful journey. And I am going to begin with a lovely song by Faith Rivera called The Power of Now.
Power of now is always present, nowhere to be than where you are. The power of now flows oh so gracefully. The power of now is always perfect, nothing to be than who you are. The power of now flows oh so easily. Be willing to let go of everything you think you need to know. Oh, be strong enough to let go of everything you think you need to control. For everything goes away. Let everything wash away. The power of now. The power of now is ever flowing, connecting the soul to the world. The power of now Be strong enough to let go of everything you think you need to control. For everything goes away. Let everything wash away. The power of now. The power of now. The power of now. The power of now.
The power of now. I love that line. Be willing to let go of everything you think you need to know, of everything you think you must control. Isn't that beautiful? And that gives us license to become. That gives us that absolute freedom. And in that place of expansion, I am blessed to bring in Reverend Valerie, who is going to do our invocation. Good morning.
Good morning. Mm. And so, in that moment of the power of now, I say good morning to CSL Greater Boston and welcome everyone, wherever you are and wherever you may be, wherever you are tuning in, and from whatever avenue you may be tuning in from. And so I ask you to take in a deep cleansing breath, letting go of the busyness of the morning and whatever it took to get you here. And I invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so, and join me. Join me in preparing the mind and the body temple to evoke an opening of the heart and a realization of our oneness with the divine. It is that which is omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent, and omniactive. It is present right here, right now, wherever each one is. The power and the presence of that divine something, that thing that I call God. It is present and actively creating one of its many forms right here, right now, known as CSL Greater Boston Sunday Celebration. And so it is in this awareness of our oneness with the divine that I claim and give thanks. I give thanks for each one showing up this morning. I bless and give thanks to Gina, our spiritual director, and the message to be presented, knowing that each one of us will gain something, whatever it is we are needing individually this morning from the message. I bless our technology, giving us the opportunity to be online with each other. I give thanks and bless each one for any part in this activity, our reading, our technology, our prayers, our song. God is good. God is very good. And so it is from this place that I trust and I love and enjoy each one. I joyfully give thanks. And please join me in saying, and so it is.
Thank you so much. That was so beautiful. Thank you, Reverend Family. See you a little bit later in fellowship.
Yep.
And our next is our reading, our beautiful reading from the lovely Karen Rank. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning. Our reading this morning is from Ernest Holmes' How to Change Your Life. And it's called Connecting with Inner Joy. You are part of the universal mind, one with the universal substance. You live, move, and have your being in pure spirit. All the abundance, the power, and the harmony of this spirit exists at the center of your being. You experience this good in such degree as you accept, believe in, and feel it. As you enter into life, feeling the divine presence in everything, more and more, you will hear a song of joy singing at the center of your being. You have only to be still and listen to this song of life, for it is always there. So we say, knowing the divine presence is always closer to me than my every breath, I have nothing to fear. I feel this loving protection around me. I know that the song of joy, of love, and of peace is forever chanting its hymn of praise and beauty at the center of my being. Therefore, I tune out of my mind all unhappy and negative ideas. I direct my thought to the sunshine of life, to brightness and laughter, to the joyous presence of radiant spirit. I lay aside all anxiety, all striving, and I let divine love operate through me into my affairs. Joyfully, I anticipate greater abundance, more success, and a deeper peace. Joy wells up within my mind, and life sings its song of ecstasy in my heart. And so it is.
And so it is. I love that. Absolutely beautiful. The song of life, the song of joy, love, and peace within us. Absolutely. Thank you, Karen. And we will see you in fellowship. Thanks so much. And before I begin the message, I just want to play a song that I love, and it is Use Me by Ricky Beyer. And really, that song within us, that life within us, is there. And we are the instrument. So, in that knowing that we are the instrument, I invite you to just listen to this, bathe and bask in this knowing.
Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think God was the sun, God is the sun that God so much more than the earth or the stars or all of creation. God is creator, all in all, needing us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. All that I'm saying is, command my hands. What must they do? Command my life. It's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new, and God needs us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. And God needs us to shine its light. God needs us to shine its light. God needs us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do.
Good morning. What a gift it is to be here surrounded by. And with it's amazing what technology does, because I see beautiful faces in the back of the house. So it's like I'm at service. I can still see all of you. And well, in the background, I have a million little stuffies all around me. So plenty of eyes are looking at me. You know, that brings me joy. I'm a big kid, and Christmas time brings me joy. And that's what it's about, is coming to a place where we see and remember and know what brings us joy. And we do that. We do more of that, because that's what we're here for. We often don't think about how we got to where we are and give ourselves the credit for what we're doing. Life on life's terms is not always easy. I wish I could. Well, I could sit here and say la la, and it's all wonderful. And isn't it great? And that wouldn't carry you through a week. It might get you through an afternoon and you'd feel pretty good, and I could rah rah, and it's wonderful. And then something happens, whether it's the traffic on the way to a job you may not love, or you get a phone call from a loved one that is in need, and I will not have filled your bucket enough with the truth. So I always try to make it real. There are things that I see on the news that hurt my heart. There are things that I see and hear about, like the tornadoes in the Midwest and, Kansas and 5 other states, over 100 people. I don't want to bypass that. I want to acknowledge and love those people and send out love and light because God needs us to shine its light as me, as you. I'm supposed to love and feel, whether that's hurt sometimes, joyful others. I'm supposed to pay attention and have a joyful life. They're not separate. It's not always easy, but it's always available. Spirit, as us, can do anything. Anything is possible. And we know that. We know that. Ernest Holmes says we are not becoming this life, but are now in and of this life. There is no other life. God is not becoming, God is. God is not growing, God is complete. God is not trying to find something, God already knows. So when I see or experience something that I don't understand, when life happens and people that I love are no longer here, or there's an experience that I just don't get, I know there's a purpose, there's a plan. God isn't becoming, Spirit already is, in, as, and through all. One of the first things I learned in this teaching is God in me, as me, is me. That is a mantra that I use as a powerful anchor to be right here, right now. And it is a mantra. God in me, as me, is me. And when I am in those moments of uncertainty, where I am frustrated or angry, trust me, I can throw my own little temper tantrums at times, and I cannot be in that right place. And the answer to me is always be still and know. Be still and know. I settle into that space where Spirit is. And there is peace there. It's not outside me. I don't have to go to. See, I didn't understand what peace was. I really had no concept because, I thought it was like a sound. Of course, I want peace. I want world peace. But I didn't know what inner peace was. There was no stillness in my life. All of the good stuff, all of those attributes of divine beauty, harmony, peace, freedom, love, joy, they're all there, but they're within me. And when my experience is on the outside and what I'm looking at from the outside, the inside is not peaceful. But when I center in the presence, everything changes. Perspective changes. It's the equivalent of putting glasses on. If you have a difficulty looking at something, you have a hard time reading, and you put on those spectacles, all of a sudden you see clearly. When I put on Spirit, when I go within and I allow that inner light to shine, I see clearly. I see differently. When I want Spirit to use me, that's how I have to show up in the world. And that's not always easy. We were born knowing and often spend much of our lives forgetting. And now we come to a teaching where we have to remember again. Maybe the journey isn't so much about becoming anything. Maybe it's about unbecoming everything that isn't really you. So you can be who you were meant to be in the first place. So who were you meant to be in the first place? When you do it, it feels good. That's how you know. Children know what they like and what they don't like immediately, and they will tell you. So Get back to that. Be like that child and allow yourself to experience. And it's not to say that you are not going to do things that you don't like to do, but we get the opportunity. We can create a life that we choose as opposed to the half do's in life. I know many people. I've spent over a decade as a life coach, and I've worked with many people that hated their jobs. And that's why they call it work. But our work is supposed to be a joyful thing. We don't have to hate it. It may not be what fulfills us, but there's a purpose within us. Sometimes that purpose might be a hobby. But if we are not fulfilling what we came to do, we'll know it. It comes to us clearly. Lao Tzu said, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be." Live in the possibility of what you choose, what you might be is exactly what your grandparents and parents thought of you as they held you as an infant. That infinite possibility lies within you. Now, whether or not you're experiencing that right now, that means you must have a whole lot of living to do because it's a lifetime, it's a journey, it's a path that we get to live, we get to choose. So, are you choosing consciously? That's the question. Are you being in that space, in that knowing that life as you is magnificent? How does it feel? You know, I there's so much. I invite you to close your eyes for a moment. If you're in a place, of course, not if you're driving, but I invite you to close your eyes just for a moment and imagine that you are the conductor of a symphony orchestra. You're standing on the podium, perfectly in sync with the score. The orchestra members and the audience. You raise the baton, instruments come up, perfect stillness. You move, and the entire orchestra responds as one. Then it happens. You are no longer the conductor, a member of the orchestra, or the audience. You are the music. You are the music. That is what you're here to do. You are here to create that beautiful music that's called life. Every time you make someone smile, that's your music. Every time you smile, that's music. Spirit as you is radiating light into the world. You have music within you. I love what Wayne Dyer says, "I don't want to die with the music still in me." I love that quote. When I heard that, it reminded me, it opened me so much. At that point, when I first heard it, I hadn't gotten the opportunity to print my first book. There was still a lot of insecurity in me for that. And unfortunately, was raised that I grew up in inner city Boston, and I didn't believe that I was good enough. And I always had this lie that I told myself that I wasn't enough. What makes me think that I could? I had some reading difficulties, and what made me think I could write a book? Those insecurities held me back. But I don't want to die with the music in me. Spirit as you has so much yet to be. It's magnificent. You are the instrument. You are the song. And you know when you're singing it. Neil Donald Walsh said, "The soul has come to the body, and the body to life, for the purpose of evolution. You are evolving. You are becoming, and you're reusing your relationship with everything to decide what you are becoming. This is the job you came here to do. This is why you're here. Becoming is why you're here. I don't know about you. I don't know your path, how you ended up here in this place that we call America, which is where I am anyway, wherever you're watching from. I am the grandchild of immigrants, and they came to this country wanting a better life. They came to this country to create something, and they did. They bought houses, and they were so proud of their family. And I now am living the American dream, whether I acknowledge it or not. I have a beautiful home. I have cars that drive. I have beautiful medical that I can go to if anything were to occur. I have people that love me, and I have more than enough. That's the dream. We joke about it sometimes, we take it for granted. But anyone that comes to this country now doesn't take it for granted. They appreciate it. These are not givens. We come to expect, of course, we turn on water, it's clean. We expect that we open our fridge, there's food. We gripe about the price of gas, but there's always gas at the tanks. We gripe a lot. I know I do. But I have opportunities in all of that. It's all there for me. Do you know how much of the world would love that, given all of those things that I rattled off? Beautiful bed and comfortable bed to sleep in, heat to turn on when it gets cold. In our becoming, let's not overlook the gifts of the people that got us here. The gifts of people every day. We talk about the supply chain. Those truck drivers came from the people on the boat. People on the boat went to the truck yard. All of those things that we never thought about before, when we see those containers on the ocean and we're thinking, oh, but that's my Christmas presents. Those are my gifts. How many people I've heard griping that they can't go out and buy a new car? When I think of that in terms of how much of our world doesn't have enough to eat, doesn't have medical care, I realize how blessed I am. How blessed I am. And from that place of blessing, I shine. I become more when I know what I have and I grow from it. When I'm looking in the place of not enough, I find not enough. We get a choice at how we look at things, how we walk through life. What is your purpose? First and foremost, your purpose is to shine. But there's something within you. You have a spark. There's something that you're here to do. If you don't know it yet, that still small voice, go within. Go to that place where spirit is and take the time to listen. Growing up, I never did that. I never knew what that was. I would pray and I would talk to God, but I didn't take the time to pay attention to get the answer. My way often went into the pitfalls and the back steps. If I'm treating and knowing the truth, it doesn't come my way, it comes the highest and best way. Am I stumbling over that? Am I holding it back? Your purpose within you, that song that's within you, there's always more. I have known people that were 30 that thought themselves old. My nephew is 23 and he already says, oh, but I've been doing this job so long. How could I change careers? He's 23. I've done 5 things longer than he's done. But in his perspective, it's too late. And I laugh hysterically. And then I know people in their 70s and 80s that are starting all over again. I know people in their 70s that just became ministers. I know people at 80 in relationships that are the best of their lives. May the rest of your life be the best of your life. But that's when you live in the becoming. It's not about what other people say. If you want what they have, do what they do. If they're miserable, go along with them if that's what you want. But if you want to live that excitement, that purpose, go within and pay attention. Be still and know. That's how I began meditation. And it was excruciating, to be honest. I started with an egg timer for 3 minutes, and it was excruciating. That's how my mind wandered. And then it becomes a practice. If I can't give 3 minutes to spirit, something's wrong. So I made myself. And it's very different now. Peace is where you choose to find it. And if you don't go looking, it doesn't come after you. Spirit is always there, waiting for us to become. Just waiting. I love this quote. Divine hands are cupped around your becoming. And the best way to cooperate with those hands is to practice being present. Macrina Wiederker. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Think about that. Those divine hands are wrapped around your becoming. Are you allowing them to? Is spirit lifting you? Are you resting easy in the knowing that God's got this? As you, spirit is magnificent. Are you in that knowing, or is there fear there instead? Are you listening to people that might say, well, why would you start that now? What makes you think you could? Or is that just that thought in your brain, that ego that's telling you, you don't want to chance that? Wouldn't want people to think anything else. And what would people think? How many times have we heard that? What would people think? I know my grandmother used to say that to me all the time. What would the neighbors think? I'm like, who are these people? And why do I care what they think? She used to get so mad at me. I was just like that at like 7. I was already in that place of who says? Well, that's what they say. I'm like, who is this they? And I was always like that because I don't believe it. Spirit as me is meant to become whatever it is he guides me to, whatever it is that guides me to. Now, whatever you call it, the universe is a frequency. Are you aligning with it? And you know, because if you are, it's joyful. If you're not, it's not. You know, the Wright brothers, and back in 1903, it was actually December 17th, 1903, the Wright brothers, you know, actually attempted and began flight. Okay. Orville and Wilbur Wright successfully tested a flying machine that took off with its own power, flew at even speeds, then landed safely without damage, and started the era of human flight. And years later, they actually took a piece of that along the ride to Mars. NASA put put a piece of the cloth actually in, and it went up to Mars. And you think about how cool that is. That before them, people thought it was only supposed to be left to the birds. It wasn't luck that made them fly. It was hard work and common sense. They put their whole heart and soul and all their energy into an idea, and they had faith. David McCullough. They put everything they had into, and they let it unfold. You know, I love our treatment is our affirmative prayer, which Barbara Fewitt is going to be doing and blessing us with in a little bit. It is where we affirm spirit is. Therefore, I am within this oneness. And I claim, I don't ask, I don't beseech, I don't say, if you think, if it's okay. It's knowing that spirit, as both the gift and the giver, is giving. What wouldn't spirit give to itself? There's the song said, use me. So spirit is flowing through your veins right here and right now. You open up that infinite possibility and you claim whatever it is that is meant for you. And the law is the doer. It fills the mold that you give it with your thoughts, with your conviction. So, what mold has it been filling in your life lately? If it's things you want, you're on the right path. If it's not, take a step back, go within, and ask. You will absolutely be directed. Michelle Obama, in her book Becoming, says becoming isn't about arriving somewhere or achieving a certain aim. I see it instead as forward motion, a means of evolving, a way to reach continuously toward a better self. And the journey doesn't end. But I love that part where it says toward a better self. I am not meant to be like anyone else. We are each individualized expressions of this grand spirit, this absolute beautiful spirit. And spirit as you is magnificent. So play with that this week. I invite you to be in that space of knowing, not asking, not questioning in the sense of, am I good enough? You're born worthy. You were born good enough because you were born as divine, no more, no less than anyone else. Let yourself shine. Take off any seeming barriers. Let go of any of the old stories and absolutely shine. So I celebrate you as we walk into this week. And I am knowing that your kitty hawk is right around the corner. Your magnificent outpouring of surprise to others. But you'll know it is absolutely within you. And I can't wait to see what you create. So I thank you for allowing me to share with you. And I'd love for you to share with me our affirmation for today. The affirmation is, I sit in joyful expectation of the revelation of God. And one more time, if we can all say it, I sit in joyful expectation of the revelation of God. I cannot wait to see what Spirit brings forth with you this week. And I can't wait to tell me the stories next week. Let us know. Send me messages. Fill in the chats. Let us know the amazing things that are coming forth for you. And as we move on, we have our sacred giving. And although we don't have the collection to hand around, I'd love for us to start with the messages, and then I will show you how we have plenty of opportunities to give from right where you are. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And that is what we're doing. If you've been blessed, circulate that good. That's what we're here to do. And this is the way. There's some different ways that if you've been spiritually fed, that you can circulate right back in, and through PayPal or a text to giving. And that is also on our website. And I encourage you also to make sure that you are on our email list so that you will get all of the messages that come through. And before I go through announcements, I'm going to invite the beautiful and always dazzling Barbara Hewitt to come forth. And she is actually not just our chair of our leadership council, she is also the president of the spiritual leader of the Center for Spiritual Living South Coastal Massachusetts teaching chapter. And she's got some events coming up, and I know she has a solstice. I'm hoping she'll at least announce that for us.
Good
Good
morning.
When is your solstice?
It is actually this Friday evening, December, what is it? The 17th, December 17th at 5:30. And it will be on our website today. And in fact, an email will go out to folks too today. But it's early, it's 5:30, and it's celebrating the winter equinox.
Wonderful.
So it will be outside around the fire pit. And if we can do it at the football games, we can do it at the equinox.
Absolutely. And this is cslboston.org. There's contact information for you, as well as if you want to email us the same way. You can reach out to us and we can always get you whatever information you need. So I just want to make sure if people have any questions, they can always reach out to us and we can make sure that they get the exact information and the address.
Great. Thank you, Gina. And thank you so much for that wonderful and inspiring message. Always, I am always so moved by your words of wisdom. So I stand in gratitude for that. I also stand in joy. I know that I am created by the one divine magnificence. And so I know it has created me in its spiritual image and likeness. So I claim and know that I am this joy and I am joyous. I am claiming being joyous in each moment of each hour of each day. I claim that state of consciousness. I claim that state of knowing. I know no matter what it is that I am experiencing on the outside, I can choose my inner state of consciousness. And so, as Gina stated so beautifully, be still and know. And so I claim and accept and know that for each and every one who is hearing this message today, each one in this sacred circle on this wonderful technical opportunity to be together, for every ear who is hearing this voice, and for the all beyond that, for all that we share this wonderful Mother Earth with, for all of us standing in the consciousness that we are walking this path together. So our heart is open and receiving and accepting. We are inclusive. We are standing together with our brothers and sisters who are walking through things like the tornadoes, who are walking through illness, who are walking through any experience, that there is a calling for love and support. We are it. We are emanating that one love and that one joy. It is going forth from us, for we are still and know that the divine is within us. And as we stand in that place in our inner sanctuary, in our inner temple, and we fill with that knowing and we fill with that light of our own recognition of our own divinity, it just emanates and goes out before us to make the way clear and easy. It emanates to every living thing that we share this time and this space with. And so I know and claim and accept and declare and decree on behalf of each and every one that they stand in this place of joy, that they claim and know and are in the consciousness of their own divinity, that they know their power. They stand as God is God. As Gina so beautifully put, they stand in the knowing of the power, the strength, and the oneness of who they are. And so I move into that place of absolute profound gratitude to know, see, and feel this of each and every one in this circle and the beyond. To know, see, and feel the oneness that we share with each other, the consciousness in our power and our joy and our peace and our love. And as we walk through this season, as every season, but as we walk through this season of celebration of light, of celebration of great masters, of celebration of the message of unconditional love, of peace, of our own infinity, of knowing our own power and our oneness, as we stand in the consciousness of that, I am so grateful to see, feel, and know that truth of each and every one, to stand in the knowing of my oneness with each and every one and the divine, and that collectively we are the light. We are the ones that bring our own unique light into this world, a light that no one else can shine. It is only ours to shine as we stand in the power of being the presence of God. And so I stand in that place of accepting that for each and every one, that each and every one accepts and knows the power of their own light, the power of their uniqueness, the power that they bring to this world as the presence of God. And so from this place of profound gratitude, I simply breathe this knowing into the law of spiritual activity. It is done, it is complete, it is so in this very moment. I lay it down like a bright star on the altar of the law. I stand in the consciousness of the altar of the love. And so I let it be. I say amen and blessed be. And we join together in affirming this word by saying, and so it is.
And so it is. Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You always radiate the light, Barbara. Thank you so much for that. And if you are looking at this place of becoming and knowing there's something still within you, that voice is calling you, bring it forth. And you know how to do that. Just like you know, if you have a light, you have to plug it in to get that electricity. Well, when you plug yourself into divine, that current is just perfect. So plug into spirit this week. And a couple of announcements before we go. Let people know we are global now. People can join us not only live at 10 a.m., but also at 5 p.m. on New Thought Media Network. And let people know where to find us. And wanted to mention that there's January 18th through the 21st is our Spiritual Living Convention. There's still time if you want. The early bird is over, but you can still register. And we have visioning every Monday at noon. Join us. We are visioning for the highest and the grandest view of CSL Greater Boston. And right after this, we have fellowship. Join us. Come together and see all of these beautiful faces and be part of that light. So I'm so grateful. Thank you for sharing your time with us today. Thank you for shining your light and I am knowing amazing things are coming forth for and as you say yes to life. And that we are going to close with that song, I'm Saying Yes to Life by Eddie Watkins Jr. So say yes this week. Be in that place, plugged in, tapped in, tuned in, turned on, and living that joyful becoming.
Well, I'm saying yes, 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 yes to life. I'm saying yes, 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 yes to life. I'm saying yes, 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 yes to life. I'm saying yes, 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 yes. Woo! Yes to life. Yes, alive, yes, right now. Yes, yes. The spirit of love within me is expressing itself right now. The spirit of joy within me is expressing itself right now. What are we gonna create today? The universe is ready to play. Yes, spirit surely will lead the way. Yes, if you just say yes. I'm saying yes, 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 yes to life. Ooh, I'm saying yes, 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 yes to life. I'm saying yes, 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 yes to life. I'm saying yes, 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 yes. Woo! Yes to life. is expressing itself right now. The spirit of light within me is expressing itself right now. Whatsoever you conceive, if you believe it, you can achieve it. The universe will always agree if you just say yes. I'm saying yes. Saying yes. I'm saying yes. Saying yes. Yes, yes. I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes. Yes to life. I'm saying yes. 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 Yes to life. Yeah.